guys, thank you for joining me on Capable of Change. Today I want to talk to you about owning an eBay store and how it can benefit you in your path to recovery, even if you're still in active addiction, if you are in a domestic violence situation trying to earn some money on the side, if you're a single mom trying to pay your kids' bills. It really can help anybody, just regular people. If you've just got too much stuff, if you're disabled and you're trying to take the first step to get back into the workforce, or if you're retired and you're just trying to make some extra money, e-commerce sites such as eBay, Amazon, Mercari, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace. Oh, there's so many, and there's more and more every day. Um, they can really help you, and they can really make a lot of money. In a little bit, I will show you how much money just my Mercari store alone has made for me. But I predominantly sell nowadays on eBay and Mercari, and I have 5 eBay stores. I sell in my spare time. I get my items from various different places. And originally, back when I was using and I really needed, I was doing things like boosting. I had a large cache of stolen merchandise. And e-commerce wasn't really a thing back in those days, so I was listing the items on Craigslist. I would take a bunch of items. What I used to do was boost and return, and when you do that, you end up with a lot of items you can't return, or something happened. You just end up with a lot of extra stuff. So I would list them on Craigslist, and I would sell them that way. Eventually, eBay became a thing, and I got clean and was got into recovery, and I went back to school, and I was looking for something to do. I was in school full time, so I was looking for something to do so that I could make money on the side. But it wasn't, I wasn't working. I wasn't beholden to anyone. I could do this myself, and I used my skills that I had while I was boosting things, and while I was listing them on Craigslist, and I basically just transferred those over to eBay. And I wasn't great in the beginning. I actually started with one thing I had. It was my husband's dad was moving out of his house, and he had a ton of encyclopedias. He had a whole set of encyclopedias from, I think it was like 1993 or something. And he, I'm sorry, y'all, my cat just came in here. Because we are in my stockroom, by the way. We are in my eBay stockroom. You will need a place to put your stuff, but we'll get there. Anyway, he had these encyclopedias. I thought, man, like, this got to be worth something, right? And so I tried to sell them. At that time, I was mostly making crafts. I had a little crafts business. I was making tutus and brooch bouquets, and selling them on Etsy. And so I said, let me put these things on Etsy and see if they'll sell. And lo and behold, they sold for like $300. And I had never shipped anything this big before. I never shipped anything at all to sell. This was the first sell I made. And so at that time, I learned real quick that 70 pounds was the max you could ship in one box. So I ended up shipping them in 2 boxes. But that was my first sell, And then I started listing more items on Etsy. Etsy is a platform where you sell handmade items, items that you make. They don't like for you to sell things that you don't make. Although some people do, they sell things that are handmade that they don't make. They buy them from people that make them and then they resell them. Um, that's a gray area. And then some people even take it to a little farther where they go get things from, buy handmade things from China and then they resell them. So anyway, I sold on Etsy for a while. The items that I was making, and then somebody told me about eBay, and I started listing things on eBay, and I realized at the time in the beginning I was only selling like one item. I think it was like one item a month in the beginning. I didn't have very many, you know. I was selling like DVDs and like well, my parents had passed away. Both my mom and my father had passed away. And then my fiance's mother also passed away. And so that left us with a ton of stuff. Like it was things like his mother had given him a nutcracker every year from the time he was born until the time she died. So he ended up with like 40 nutcrackers. And these are like Christmas nutcrackers, and they're like worth a lot of money because you can't find them anymore. She collected um, all these Hallmark ornaments that you couldn't find anymore. We sold those. My father was a photographer. We had a bunch of photography equipment that was outdated that we ended up selling. Like, you know, once you start selling things on eBay, the items start coming. Some people go to Goodwill and source their items. Some people get them from yard sales, a good place to get them. But in today's society of consumerism, there is just stuff everywhere that you can sell. There are items everywhere, and you know that. You just have to be resourceful. And when you start telling people that you run and own an eBay store, something happens. First, they ask you, they say, "Oh, I've got a lot of stuff. Will you help me sell my stuff?" And then you can say, "I can help you sell some items, but only expensive stuff, because by the time I pay the platform and then I spend my time on it, you know, I don't want to be." Lots of times they'll have ridiculous stuff they want you to sell, stuff that they can't get rid of otherwise. But if it's something expensive, like a friend of mine recently just gave me a bunch of expensive dresses that she bought and missed the return window on. And I said, "I'll be happy to sell those. I'll take 20% beyond what I'm paid, not including what I have to pay the platform, right?" And I sold those and made good money for her and for me. But usually what'll happen is I'll just say, "No, I'm good. I can't do that right now." People will give you like a box of records and you can just be like, now don't get me wrong, we sell records, lots of records, but they got to be good records, right? So people just give you stuff because you'll say, "No, I don't, I've got too much stuff right now, I just don't have time." And they say, "Okay." And then they wait for a couple of months and then they come back to you and they say, "I'll just give it to you for free. You take it, you know what to do with it. You could do something with it." And in that case, I usually just give them like, you know, $50 or whatever I like. If they're giving me a big box that I know I can sell for hundreds of dollars, you know, I'll just throw them a little bit of money because they were going to get rid of it. They were going to give it to Goodwill. They were going to trash it. Whatever they were going to do, they didn't want it anymore. In fact, you're doing them a favor by taking it off their hand. So, you know, don't feel bad. But I promise you, the items are not a problem. It's actually doing the work. You have to do the work. But if you are a money-minded person, and I always was, when I was in the game, I was always hustling. And if you're a hustler, it's easy to move these skills and transfer them over into to a legitimate business, which is e-commerce, and you can easily, go legit that way, um, and have your own business. And like in 10 years' time, you can be running 5 stores and making money and working for yourself, and it's easy to do that. And there are many, you know, ways to upscale a business at that point. Lots of people buy pallets from stuff on Amazon and resell them. Some people do storage building auctions. Some people source jewelry online, and they buy stuff really cheap and sell it really high. Some people even do drop shipping, which is a whole nother thing where you don't even have to have an item. All you have to do is find an item online that is less expensive, that's like on sale, and then you go list it in your store, and then when the person buys it, you just put in their address, and then that store sends it directly to that person, and you just make the difference. And it's just that easy. It's not really that easy because you have to really be on it. You have to pay attention, because what happens when the store runs out of things, or what happens when the sale goes off, then you are responsible. And if you've got hundreds of items, you have to pay attention to which one's on sale and which one's selling for this. And, there's a whole way to do it. But since I've been selling online, I haven't had any problem getting stuff. There's stuff all the time. Sadly, people die all the time, and in the as sad as it is, and I mean it is sad, but if you are in recovery, I'm sure you know people that have passed, and I have had people that have passed that are close to me, and you know, what are they going to do with all their stuff? They give it to friends, and and I have ended up with a lot of people's stuff because of that. And a lot of that money I have used to. eBay has an option where you can donate money at the time of sale. So, say you sell this shirt right here that's behind me for $20, then you can give 20% of that to, whatever organization you want to give it to. I usually donate to animal shelters and things like that. But depending on whatever you want to give it to. I also have an organization myself, and I'm working on turning my organization, Capable of Change, into a nonprofit. And one of the ways I do that is with this stuff. You have people donate to you, and then once they donate the items, then you sell those items, and that is how you make the money for your organization. And lots of companies, lots of organizations do that. Here in Raleigh, I know that, I mean, that's what Goodwill is, right? Goodwill collects items, they sell them, they use that money to help people in the community. Healing Transitions, they do the same thing. They have a thrift store. Lots of organizations have thrift stores. Even the Humane Society, Calls for Paws, they have thrift stores, and it's a real easy way, a real good way to get people to give their property to you to sell, and then you can do good things with it. You can, buy food and start a, a shuttle for food for people that are food insecure, and you can help homeless. Like one thing that I did is I sold a bunch of magazines that someone donated, Specifically, I collect magazines and sell those and use them to fund my nonprofit because it doesn't cost me anything. I get free magazines, so it's completely free. Everything I make off of it is profit. I put it directly back into my nonprofit, and I used that last year to buy a bunch of propane tanks for the homeless people that live in my community. I went out there and asked them what they needed. They said propane and tents. And so I bought a bunch of propane for them. And I would take the propane out there and trade it for their tank. And then I'd bring them back a full can of propane. So there's lots of ways you can do it. You can do it for profit. You can do it for organization. But there's really only a couple things that you need to invest. One of those things is you're going to need, if you sell clothes, you're going to need a mannequin eventually. You can find a mannequin online for $20 or $30. You can buy a new one for $50, but I suggest going to Facebook Marketplace and trying to find one online. This one came out of like an Abercrombie & Fitch shop. So it was just a discounted one that they were getting rid of. You can find them. People are trying to get rid of them. In the beginning, you can hang things on hangers or lay them flat, but a mannequin is where you're going to get your sales. Another thing you're going to need is a tape measure and some cleaning stuff. You need to clean some of these items. You can't be selling dirty stuff. You need to put a little bit of time in it. It's something you can totally do from home, but you definitely need to, the more time you put in it, the better it will look. The cleaner it is, the more it will sell. You need to write good descriptions. eBay has a thing now where AI can write your description, so that's cool. You need to be honest and be able to have an eye for detail. You need to be able to tell if there's a hole in the shirt or something. You need to tell that up front. You can't be trying to get over it on anybody because eBay will shut your store down. You can only get a couple of complaints. They do a rating system up there, so you definitely need to be honest about the condition of your items. There are lots of ways to make money, but this is something you can do in your spare time. You can do it at home. If you've got kids, you can sell all the stuff that they outgrow. It's real easy to do. One thing that people always get caught up on is the shipping. They're like, I don't want to ship items. Shipping is hard. I don't know how to ship items. And look, shipping isn't that hard. You need to get yourself a scale. You need a scale. If you were in the drug game, you probably already have a scale. But you can get a scale online from Amazon for less than $20. You need a scale that weighs up to 50 pounds. And all you start doing is saving your papers. When you start receiving packaging material from places like this from Amazon, you gotta save it. Save it and reuse it. Amazon, eBay, save it and reuse it. Until you get a cache of used mailer envelopes, which I try to mail everything in these envelopes because it's easier that way. But if you need boxes, you got to save boxes too. Over here, you know, I save all my boxes. Even I use granola boxes. I use paper bags. Anything I can reuse, I reuse it. If something like this makeup comes in this box, I reuse it. Like, here's another thing I do. I buy these makeup boxes, and you can get a box for $25. It usually has like 5 or 6 little items in it. Each item probably sells for between $5 and $25. If the items only sell for $5 and you have 5 of them, that is enough to pay for your box, right? but some items are worth a lot of money. And luckily, this little package that comes with it tells you exactly what it's worth. And as you can see, that this brown Refi pomade right here, there it is right there, it says it sells for $20. So your item sells for $20. So one item sells for $20, and that's paid for your box. And there's different companies that do these boxes. Whoop. This is Babe Box. I like Ipsy the best. Ipsy's a good one. There's BoxyCharm. There's the Allure box. There's a lot of ways to make money. Like I said, you could do the magazines. You can sell your get stuff from estate sales. You can pick free stuff up from Mercari. Mercari has a free section. You can go around and pick up free things and come home from sell it. I know people that do dumpster diving. I used to do dumpster diving a lot. Dumpster diving will pay the bills. You can definitely do it. It's another thing is it's really great for squirreling away money, because the money goes in Mercari. It can be held in Mercari. It never has to even hit a bank account until you want it to. So you can save $10,000 in the Mercari app. And if you're somebody that's hiding money because of a domestic violence situation, or, you know, a insane mate, you can just keep it there until one day you need to cash it out. eBay does that too, I think up to a certain amount, but it can go directly into PayPal. Also, you know, you can just set up an alternative bank account. There's lots of different ways, but I really love Mercari specifically because their money, it just holds there. It never goes anywhere. It stays in Mercari, and that's dangerous if, you know, Mercari were to like disappear tomorrow. So would your money. But I've been dealing with them for like 6 years, and if you don't transfer your money out, it'll sit there and nobody will ever know you have it. So that's something to think about. So back to shipping. Okay, save your items. If not, you can go buy some from online. People sell these mailer envelopes. I have never had to buy, except for my magazines for Media Mail, or my books for Media Mail. I send them in these envelopes that I buy. But there's so much packaging going in and out of my house that I've never really had to buy any packaging. But the post office has this really neat program where you can get free packaging material, flat rate packaging material. Now, it's a little more expensive, but your buyers pay for your shipping, always. In the beginning, never list anything as free shipping. List your item. So let's say we were going to sell something out of this box, and I am going to upload several videos on how to actually sell things. But let's just say right now we were going to sell this. We'll go ahead with this pomade, right? We were just talking about this pomade. If you don't know what a pomade is, it goes on your eyebrows. Now, I have never used an eyebrow pomade, but some people use it. Maybe I need to use it. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to sell it. So let's just say somebody bought it. Somebody bought it and it's ready to go. And I have listed it. Well, before they bought it, I listed it for $18, right? That was the retail price. I went online, checked my prices. It was going for $18, and I listed it for $18. Somebody bought it for $18, and then they paid an extra $5 for shipping, because most items this size, $5 nowadays is the minimum for like basically anything shipping. If it's this size, unless it's a piece of paper, it's going to be $5 or more, because they got rid of first class and now everything's Ground Advantage. So this, they paid $6. So they paid you $18, and then they paid $6 for the shipping. It's a separate field, and you do not have to worry about it. You put in that it weighed 2 ounces, and then eBay calculated that 2 ounces equals $6. I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying that that's what they do. That's what they do. They calculate it for you based on the weight. You don't have to do anything. When the item sells, they said, okay, a 2 ounce item is $6 for Ground Advantage. The buyer has already paid for that. So they paid $18 to you, and then eBay took their 13% out of it, and then they paid $6 to shipping. eBay also takes their 13% out of that, so you want to make sure that if your item's 2 ounces, you say it's 4 ounces, so that it's a little bit more to account for that 13%, but that's something you'll learn eventually, because you'll realize afterwards that you didn't get $18, you only got, 18 minus the 13%. Anyway, that's the money you get. So they bought it, and you are going to ship it. Now, you have option of way to ship it. You can ship it in a mailer that you already have, because your husband bought a bunch of socks this week, and he received them in this mailer, so you can ship it in that. Or you can ship it in a mailer that you found, that you bought. You can also ship it in a box of something that you bought earlier today. I bought this last week, and this will fit right in there. Bam. Done. Okay, so it's ready to ship. Now you got to print a label, so you need a printer. You're going to have a printer. You got to print a label off somehow. eBay and Mercari, I think, have an option for QR codes where you can go to the post office and show them on your phone. They'll give you a QR code. You take the QR code in to the post office, and they will scan it and print out a label for you right there. So if you don't have a printer in the beginning, you can do that. But you really just need to go ahead and source yourself a printer of some sort, whether it be one of those little sticky label printers that, is small, or whether it's an old school printer like I have, that I've had for like 10 years, and it's still going strong, black and white printer. So you got to print out your label and put it on there, and then ship it, right? Here's what a label looks like. Printed it out, put it on here, taped it up, put it on, shipped it. Done. It's that easy. So I'm just saying, don't get caught up on the whole shipping thing. The buyer pays for the shipping. The shipping materials can be sourced. Also, like I said, you could also put it in this priority mail label package, and these are free. They also have things like this at FedEx and UPS, which are free. So if you put your item in this and you ship it, then you get to use their, it has to be priority mail, so it's going to be a lot more expensive, because anything under a pound can be shipped Ground Advantage, which used to be first class. It's not first class anymore, but does it matter? No, it doesn't, because the buyer is paying for it. It does matter in terms of eventually, like if the shipping's too high, they're going to be like, I'm not paying for that. I'm going to go get it somewhere else. But that really comes down to the uniqueness of your items, and also the platform. Some people don't search for things. They just see them. They say, I need some pomade. I'm on eBay today. I'm going to buy this. I'm not going to look and see if Amazon has it cheaper, or if I can get it somewhere else. I'm going to buy it right now before I forget. And that's how a lot of items are sold. So it's not as hard as you think it is. I'm positive, and it's a great way to get money, work for yourself, get out of a bad situation. You don't have to, you can do it, and you don't have to work for anybody. You do it on your own. So I hope this helps. I hope it inspires you to do some e-commerce selling to find some things around the house, my suggestion to you would be to find 3 items today that you want to get rid of and go list them. Start with 3 items, open your eBay store, or start on Mercari, or start on Facebook Marketplace. I wouldn't go anywhere else. It's kind of a waste of time. Those 3 places, they sell. Those items sell. And in fact, I would start on Mercari. And in fact, I have a Mercari link, so I will put that down below so that you can use it and get, like, I don't know, $20 free or something. I'm not really sure, but I'll put it down somewhere. And watch out for my videos later on how to actually list stuff on eBay and get out there and make some money. Thanks for watching.